Recently, the new science of nutrigenomics was introduced. Basically, it is just the science of how food is information interpreted by our DNA for maintaining our bodies. We have always known that natural foods were better for us. We all know that processed and altered foods have been the principal causes of diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and other problems and complications to healthy living. There's also science developing around the DNA now that is the effect of frequencies upon the DNA. Frequencies are basically signal intervals from light, sound, vibrations, and other external influences. You can find many references to frequencies that affect our bodies in various ways. Only in the past few years have the influence of frequencies been researched by scientists to learn how frequencies affect our bodies. The results are clear that frequencies also provide information to our DNA, just as the foods we eat are information to our DNA. The human body is known to contain from 50 to 100 trillion cells, including all manner of specialized cells, such as brain cells, heart cells, lung cells, liver cells, and many others. Yes, the human body is enormously complex, and to further explain the complexity of the cell, there is DNA in every cell of our bodies. The DNA is the tool used by our body to create, maintain, and preserve our body. DNA is present in every living life form. It is now commonly known among scientists that the DNA clearly contains code. Just like a computer program or any device you can make do specific things when you communicate with the code in that device. A computer program is a very good example. The computer has millions of switches that turn things on and off as a person makes entries on the keyboard. As a computer user depresses keys on the keyboard, millions of switches are turning on and off that affect the internal computer codes. In turn, the computer may write words, show a picture, or do all manner of things dependent upon the keys that are entered by the human user of the computer. The human DNA is very much like a complex computer code. The DNA receives information from all manner of influences, some of which are heat, light, sound, food, and frequencies, of course. These influences, in turn, cause the DNA to respond by turning on switches according to its internal code. The DNA is different in separate species of life forms, including animals and plants. DNA is present in every living life form. The DNA is our human computer code that is in every cell of our body to create us from conception and during the time we are developing within the womb. All the information to create our bodies, our organs, and body parts are included within our DNA code. After we are born, the DNA continues the creation process throughout our lifetime, all the while preserving and protecting us by its predetermined code and replacement processes. The DNA is continuously replenishing cells within our body automatically. The process of DNA copying is extremely precise, and the process is practically unbelievable. The DNA copies itself perfectly for placement in all new cells, perfectly every time. I want you to think on that. The DNA copies itself all throughout our lives perfectly. A good example might be the way our skin replenishes itself. Old skin cells die, new ones replace them. And the processes of the DNA is always perfect and makes an exact duplicate of those skin cells. You may say, you mean I was created and my physical body is being maintained by something like a preset code, like a computer program? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yet you must be aware the DNA code is unique and completely different for every human being in the world. You share some parts of that DNA code with family members going back and forward for generations. Yes, we do share some parts of the DNA with every living person. An example of some of those things we have in common are the part that makes us human, determines our sex and our race. The most important thing you have to realize about DNA and its function in our lives, it is a coded instruction set for creating, maintaining, and preserving life throughout the lifetime of a person or other life form. How can such a thing be? How could such a sophisticated code be created that occupies all the trillions of cells in our body and not be created by someone? It is an undisputed fact. You cannot have code without a creator. There's absolutely no way a code with 6 billion characters of information and every single strand of DNA that is in every one of the 50 to 100 trillion cells that make up your human body could have been spawned without an intelligent creator. An intelligence far beyond human reasoning. The DNA is so complex after over 50 years of dedicated scientific research and study, about 2% of the functioning processes of DNA are known to us. The answer is clear simply by process of elimination. There is God. You are not some primeval mass of organic protoplasm. Yes, you are more unique and special than you realize. We humans all know and have understanding of ourselves, our feelings, our thoughts, and we are aware of our own existence. The never-ending creation processes within the DNA are truly amazing. In the process of creating a human, the DNA influences the creation of extremely complex organs. Among those is the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, and so on. We humans are wonderfully created creatures, and the DNA is the driving force in the creation of our human physical bodies as well as all living life forms. All through our lives, our DNA is busy at work within our physical body, continuously creating, repairing, healing, and doing its work to preserve life. The DNA does have limitations. The DNA doesn't have the abilities of our brain. The DNA is the creation mechanism that influenced the creation of our brains and all of our physical person, and continues to maintain our physical bodies all of our lives. Yes, the DNA is enormously complex, but our Creator didn't plan for DNA to manage our person. Our DNA is the creator of what we are physically. It is not what our person is. If DNA were the complete answer to life, we would merely be plants or other life forms that live out their lives with no awareness or thought of their own existence. The DNA does an enormous job preserving our bodies for us to live, yet the DNA has limitations.